Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. So, this is hilarious. You people know that Dana White, the UFC's Dana White, is buddy with Donald Trump. So, today, Dana White, he made the statement, I believe, last night, but it's in the news today, that Donald Trump is the most loyal guy he's ever met, and that he's real smart, and he's a good guy to boot. This is hilarious. I'm going to play a clip in a minute from the Young Turks, and this is Yank Unger's take. So let me just say this, and I'll talk a little bit afterwards. Dana White is not a nice guy. We all know that. And listen, I like him. I think he's a character. By the way, there'd be no UFC without Dana White. People who follow me and know me, and I'm a lifetime martial artist. I've been following UFC since the beginning, 1993. I was there that very first fight. I wasn't there at the arena, but I've been following it since 1993. And when they sold the company, when Dana White came along, there'd be no UFC with Dana White. So I get a kick out of Dana. He is a fucking character. But he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. And he's definitely not a nice guy. He's a fucking fight promoter, So anyway, let me play this and I'll talk some more.
White was that much of a jerk. I don't know much about him. I'm sure that if I did, I would have known earlier. Everything he said was a lie. Let's break it down. I don't want you thinking that I'm just saying that. He said Donald Trump is the most loyal guy you'll ever meet. Are you kidding me? I mean, you guys have all seen it with your own eyes. Look at what he did to Jeff Sessions. Look at what he did with Michael Cohen. Anybody that he doesn't do anything. Sometimes people who do exactly what he wants, but then it turns out it was a stupid idea. Then he blames them and throws them under the bus. You've seen it 100 times. Even if you're his fan, you've seen it 100 times. If there's one thing of all the things to describe Donald Trump as, the only thing that's like kind is what they keep saying. That's probably ranks number one as most outrageous. Smart, probably number two most outrageous. But loyal would be number three most outrageous. Then he said, he really believes in our country. No, he literally doesn't want to do elections. And if he loses, he wants to do a redo. That's not believing in our country. He doesn't believe in our principles at all, would end our democracy in a second. It's the exact opposite. He said he's done everything he promised. Really? He promised universal health care. Anybody see universal health care? No, he's just a big loudmouth who just spouts off things and doesn't care at all and hasn't delivered on anything, including his stupid wall. And then he says, this one thing we found out here is, I like that Reagan quote, tell us what we got to do and have the government get out of the way. Really? The government got out of the way during coronavirus? How did that work out for us? Because Donald Trump's a moron who didn't know how to react to anything. So he got out of the way, and hey, we reacted the absolute worst out of any country in the world. Most cases, most deaths. You know why? Because the government got out of the way. It turns out sometimes the government has to coordinate things. And so Dana White is wrong on every count. I've got more, but go ahead, Emma.
Yeah, so he was obviously factually incorrect. We know that all of these Republican speeches are riddled with misinformation, but the problem with it is that it's all about the perception of reality and the marketing, because people feel so disenchanted by both political parties and feel lied to, and like all politicians are going to lie to them, that almost policy and the connection to reality, it's become so muddled that I'm fairly pessimistic about it. And why I fear that might have been an effective speech is that when I talk to people who aren't super informed or more apolitical people who don't pay attention just, in this area, specifically older people, they'll go, well, what could have Trump done differently? It was a pandemic, it was a virus. What could he have done? What could he have done? And you list all of these things, and here at least people will be like, well, what about Cuomo, nursing homes, etc. But there is this tendency where people don't understand how we proportionally failed when it comes to other countries and how they dealt with the pandemic. It's part of the American exceptionalism that's embedded in everybody's thought processes. And so I do fear that when you have a personality like White, someone who's visible, it kind of enforces what people who aren't paying too much attention to the proportional response to coronavirus have how they kind of want to excuse it away and think it's just this uncontrollable thing that we couldn't have done anything differently about. It's almost like it's too large to grasp, so they kind of toss it away. And I've multiple older people that I've spoken to kind of have that same mentality.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's ineffective. He reminded me of an old school Republican that's really good at seeming like a common guy and lying to you and speaking to you out of both sides of his mouth. He said, Donald Trump doesn't just care about Republicans, he cares about every single person in the country. Here's a guy who said out loud, well, if you got governors who don't like me, maybe I won't get them the help they need during coronavirus. I mean, he's the exact opposite of what's true. It reported 1,000 times over that Donald Trump was withheld things from blue states because they didn't vote for him, including his tax cut, where the cuts went to the red states and people in the blue states had to pay more taxes. Okay, why? Because Donald Trump doesn't care about every American. He just cares about me. How do I look out for me and the people who are good to me? And so then that comes to the issue of loyalty that Scavino brought up and White and a couple others did. Look, he's the least loyal guy on the planet, but he does favor you if he thinks you're not going to be a rat. Okay, so I don't like Scavino was a caddy. So what? AOC was a bartender. I don't begrudge him that at all. I'm the last guy on earth to begrudge him that. That's great. He made it up to it. But how did he make it up the ladder? Only through Trump. And all Trump did, he didn't win any elections. He didn't accomplish anything. He was just like, yes, sir, Donald Trump, sir. I'll carry your golf cart, sir, and I'll lie for you. I'll do whatever errand you need. And whose kneecap do you need me to go after? And so Trump's like, I don't care that you're not competent. Here, you, the errand boy who'll do whatever I want. You're now deputy chief of staff to the president of the United States. So, and then I don't know if it's Dana or Dana, and I don't really care, but the UFC guy. So he says, our first responders, they're the greatest, man. They protect us. If by us, you mean rich white people like you? Yes, that's true, okay? If you mean all of us, that's the most preposterous thing. They do a job that's really risky. Really? Hey, a guy's going towards his car. He might or might not have something inside his car, and his 3 kids are inside there. Who cares? Let's just shoot him at point blank range in the back 7 times to try to murder him because we do such a risky job. No, the cops don't do a risky job at all. The minute they think that there's any kind of tiny little threat, there's a chihuahua around the corner 3 blocks away, murder everybody in sight, shoot. That's what they're taught, that's what they're trained for, and that's what they do. So don't give me this thing about, cops do a risky job. It's like the least risk. Imagine that let's say you operate a machine, you're at a Ford plant or whatever you're at. You're like, oh man, that could cut off my finger. I got an idea. Why don't I bring an Uzi in here and fire at the freaking machine? Because I don't want to take any risks. That's like the cop's job. The minute you see a risk, just murder anything in your sight. Okay, anyway, you get the sense how pissed off I am about Jacob Blake. You know what happened with Jacob Blake? They probably told you on the show earlier today, but I'm on the warpath. So his dad went to go visit him. He's handcuffed in the hospital. He's paralyzed. You shot him in the back 7 times. Where's he gonna go, you monsters? That's a risky job. You never know. The paralyzed guy might get up and attack me. Let's handcuff him. Such a risky job. We didn't murder him yet. So he could come back. He's black. I don't know. He's black. Maybe he's got superhuman strength. So that's risky my ass. You don't murder people and you actually see if they have a weapon, then I'll call it risky. All right. Anyway, I'm going back to Scavino. He said, Donald Trump has, quote, endless kindness. Come on, let it go. Absurd, totally absurd.
Again, I can't get over that theme. It's also antithetical to why his base loves him. Why are they doing this? Why are they pushing this? It just seems like a misallocation of everybody's time.
Look, CNNs of the world think they're tough on Trump. You think any of them are saying this? Like the minute Maddow says anything slightly tough, it's like a giant headline, right? No, support us and we'll tell you what the reality is. We're not going to pull any punches. You think Maddow, or I'm not trying to pick on Rachel, okay? Nicole Wallace, who used to work for the murderer Dick Cheney, but you think she's going to say that cops have something wrong in their culture and that their job is not at all risky? They're never going to say that. They're all going to say, you will turn on local news. They're kissing cop ass 24/7. Okay, anyway, look, support the show in any way you can. The join button's below. tyt.com/go. So we want to grow. We want to grow. We got to be the fourth news network so the progressive can win next time. So when they call us radical and say, oh, these guys are going to take away your private insurance and give you better insurance, and next thing you know, everybody's going to be covered. At least it's going to be true then. Okay. So anyway, I got more, and then I'll read your names. He said, Donald Scavino said, Donald Trump can't be bought. They get these liars to come out here and say this stuff with a straight face. I'm not even going to bother disproving that. Yeah, everybody knows. Yeah, I don't care if you're MAGA. You know, you give that guy $10, he'll do whatever you want. Billionaire. He rips people off $5,000 at a time. Anyway, and then he says, and you know, Donald Trump, he's not just my friend, he's your friend. No, he's not. Now, forget me. Like, the very last thing I would want is to have Donald Trump as my friend. To me, I mean, there's nothing in the world that says you're a terrible person like being Donald Trump's friend. Anyway, but he's not anybody's friend. He's not even Scavino's friend. He's not Dana White's friend. He's just looking for advantage. And the minute he can, you think he won't throw Scavino after all these years under a bus? He'll throw him under a tank. He doesn't give a damn at all. He's not your friend, you idiot. He's a gravy train for now for you. Okay, so enjoy it while you can.
I agree with everything Cenk Unger said. You know, it's just hilarious. So there you go. Good friends, good books, and a sleepy conscience. Hey, I got my peace hat on here. Peace, love, and understanding here in Tabor Talk.